What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of National Pastime. John Toaster and J Rob here, and we're here for the divisional round picks and preview, the NFL's Elite Eight, the first time that we will see the Titans and the Packers in this playoffs. And I think we've got some pretty good matchups. I know all of us are not super stoked about the idea of that seventh playoff team because it creates some pretty shitty matchups in the first round. But generally, I'm not going to complain about more football. And I think now we've gotten to the point where pretty much all of these games are going to be fairly competitive. Any first thoughts before we really start diving in here?
I mean, the fact that the Packers are close to a touchdown favorite over the 49ers is pretty telling, but everything else is ultimately very close. Basically,
Hmm.
field goal pick 'em game.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, we'll just get started then right away with the Bengals at the Titans. Titans are 3.5 point favorites in this one. And this one, honestly, is kind of a difficult one for me to pick just because we don't know exactly how Derrick Henry's going to look. This will be his first game back in quite some time. I'm expecting that we'll see a pretty heavy dose of him, though. If he's healthy enough to play, I don't see any reason why the Titans would hold him back. Um, it- I don't know. It's tough because the Titans, for really ever since the Derrick Henry injury, never really felt like a number one seed or a top seed kind of team. And it just felt like, okay, they're just hanging on, they're just hanging on. And then all of a sudden we reach the end of the regular season and here they are. And now they get him back. And it's hard for me, I think, ultimately to adjust my mindset on what this team is and how strong they actually are. Now, if the Bengals weren't all that impressive last week, I don't think, against the Raiders. They didn't necessarily have to be, but Joe Burrow's basically been playing mistake-free football for the last month of the season. I mean, his last 4 games, 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He has 0 turnover-worthy plays per Pro Football Focus. And that to me is going to be the key for them in this one. So set the table a little bit for you, and I think I'm gonna kick over to you, Toaster, before I make my pick here. But how are you feeling about this one overall?
Overall, I haven't known who the Titans are all season, and I haven't known who the Bengals are all season. Like, we find out typically on Sundays this time. I'll give it to them on Saturday that we'll
Yeah,
find out who's who. The Titans just haven't been as explosive, and that's with a blowout victory over the Dolphins. They've beat the Jaguars by 20. I just don't know that I trust them to win by more than 3.5 in a playoff game. And that's where
yeah,
the points come into play on something against the spread. And I they can't just throw Derrick Henry in with a full workload, right? I know he's a freaking monster.
why
He's
not though?
superhuman. The fact that he's back is incredible. I mean, the game he injured his toe or foot, he played the entire rest of the game like there was no
Yeah.
detriment whatsoever. And they're like, okay, now you need to sit out 4 to 8 weeks. And like, well, he just
Right.
did it, right? But ultimately, at 3.5, and with Joe Burr being as explosive as he is, there's a lot of things that are going to go into this that make me nervous, like one cornerback going on the Tennessee Titans COVID list today. And we know that when the Titans have had COVID, it's been more than just one person going on. But right now, um, I guess I'm going to take a play out of the leader in the clubhouse here and go with Joe Burr.
Okay. You're gonna go Joe Burr and the Bengals plus 3.5. I you know how much I love me some Joe Shiesty, but I think I'm on the Titans. I think I'm
T-
on the Titans. The
They're Titans
Titans.
for you.
No, they're the Titans. They're the
Okay.
Titans. Yeah, sorry, I misspoke. This one I think is going to be a really close game. Now, who knows? The Titans have surprised me all year. Maybe they come out and Derrick Henry just shoves it And Ryan Tannehill looks like the best version of himself, and they just blow the Bengals out of the water. Uh, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. I think Burrow is going to keep this one close. But that news today of the Titans being down one of their corners, we know the Bengals receivers can really take advantage of bad cornerback play, even good cornerback play. And if the Titans don't absolutely dominate this game with Derrick Henry, I think there's potential for them to be in trouble. But I ultimately think they are going to control this thing. I don't know.
Trust the Bill Belichick way and Mike Vrabel.
I do. I think they're going to try to ultimately take the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands as much as possible. And if he makes even, I mean, shit, I just said he's been mistake free for a month, so I probably just jinxed him. But if he makes one mistake in this game, I don't think the Titans have it in them to put together a Buffalo Bills-esque offensive performance, but I think they can be efficient enough on their drives where, I could see them scoring on almost all of their drives, even if it's a handful of field goals, right? With Derrick Henry, they just have the ability to really lock into what they like to do, and they're hard to stop even if it's coming. So,
Well, and they're hard to stop even if it's not Derrick Henry, quite frankly, right?
yeah,
Like Hilliard's been just fine, and Foreman's been something to be reckoned with as well. So it's not
yeah.
like obviously there's a drop off in talent. Don't want to belittle that by any means, but does it change your pick if Derrick Henry is the starter versus Foreman or Hilliard?
If Derrick Henry doesn't play, like if he wasn't available in this game, I'm sure it would affect the line, as well. But I would probably lean a little bit more Bengals. But I just really think like we like you mentioned, Derrick Henry finished that game that he got hurt in, and if he has the rest of his body rested going into this game the way that he does, if that injury is not going to be an issue, I mean, a fresh Derrick Henry in January is
That's
fucking
terrifying.
scary.
Yeah.
Fucking
As long
scary.
as the carburetor on the tractor Cito doesn't need some fine tuning for, a half or two, then yeah,
Yeah.
and just want to remind everybody the run they went on in the middle of the season here destroyed the Bills, destroyed the Chiefs, destroyed the Colts, destroyed the Rams, beat the Saints. Like that sounds like an ultimate playoff push right there, right? So
Mhm.
Mike Vrabel's shown that he can come up with a game plan to beat some good teams. I'm terrified of this pick going on the Bengals side of it, but I just something tells me not to trust Tannehill, and
Yeah.
that's where I'm ultimately going with on this one. That I trust Burr more than I trust Tannehill, and I don't know if Tractor Cito is going to be there.
Yeah. All right. J Rob, we're split. Where are you leaning?
All right, so I don't know if I should go like reverse psychology here because I have the Bengals in the Super Bowl. And my picks last week, I should probably fade whatever I actually feel. Um, I like the Bengals. I'm just gonna screw it. I'm not gonna be superstitious. I like the Bengals
Don't fuck
here.
around.
On the road, they're 5-3 on the road this year. I think them getting a win in the wild card actually benefits them versus having to play someone like Tennessee in their first playoff game. They're 5-3 on the road. They average 26 points a game on the road. They only give up 17 points a game on the road. So like they can handle business on the road. And some of their bigger wins of the year have been on the road. And if there's any
Mhm.
quarterback that I want with a fuck you mentality, it's Joe Burrow. And
Yeah.
so I like the Bengals here. I don't think Tractor Cito is going to get as much of a load as probably people would want to feel comfortable on that pick. And I mean, toe injuries are toe injuries, man. Like I know he's had a long time to wait, but like anything with the foot and the ankle and
He's got
stuff can just
9
get
other.
re-aggravated so easily
I know it.
that it's concerning. So I
Yeah.
like the Bengals.
Okay. I mean, I would hope to be fair, you could still pick the Titans and have your Bengals Super Bowl pick. Or no, wait, no, you can't.
No,
Not
you
in
can't.
that particular. No. Mm-mm.
Let's
Sorry.
leave the math to Toaster.
Yep. Sorry. I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt there, Josh, but yeah, if you're gonna stick with your Super Bowl pick, you got to
Gotta go
take
with
Joe
them.
Burr and the Bengals.
Yep.
Yep.
But they really have been an enigma because they've had a bunch of close games and a bunch of blowout games, and they've typically been on the side of the blowout game on the positive side, outside of that one Browns just absolute collapse and that Chargers
hmm
non-showing. But typically
Wasn't the
they're
Browns though week 18 when they were resting everybody?
no, they only lost by 5 that one. They lost to the Browns twice. They lost 41-16 in week around
Mm.
week 9.
And they lost to the Bears week 1.
Week 2, but
Week
yeah,
two.
But yeah, so it's just that's why I said I don't know who's going to show up on either side because Tennessee's lost to the Jets and the Texans. So take your pick on this one. That's why I'm taking the points ultimately. That if somebody's going to show up, at least the Bengals will probably be close.
What's the weather sitch? I can look, but
I can't. It
gonna
honestly
be
never even
weathery.
factored into my head.
It's going to be weathery.
It's Tennessee. It's Nashville. It can't be that bad, right?
A lot of bachelorette parties.
it looks like on Saturday it's gonna be 39.
You're saying it's
High
going
of
to be raining
39.
dildos?
I was just gonna say a lot of moisture in the area, but yeah.
Okay.
Saturday
All
the
right.
high's 39. So
Not bad.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have an effect on the game, really. All right. So you two are on the Bengals. I'm on the Titans. Let's move on. The Saturday night game, the 49ers at the Green Bay Packers. And the Packers are 6-point favorites, right? J-Rob, unless this one moved to 5.5. I'm looking at 6 right now, potentially, but I might not be looking at the most up-to-date number. But
I did those yesterday, so I'll adjust. I'll check and adjust.
okay, so Packers are 6-point favorites right now, and Packers won this matchup in week 3, 30-28, and Aaron Rodgers famously, when he got drafted in 2004, was asked, about the Niners passing on him and said that they're going to regret it. And we know that Aaron Rodgers is the kind of guy that likes to hold grudges and will use that kind of stuff to motivate him on the field. Couple notes from this one. It's going to be 2 fucking degrees in Green Bay on Saturday night. And my biggest question about this one is whether or not Jimmy G
Evan
will be
Bacon will
able.
be there. Oh, okay.
Yes.
That this was a
Yeah.
degrees of separation joke. Sorry.
No. 2 degrees. Yeah. Whether or not Jimmy G can handle the cold. He's never played a playoff game in cold weather. Like he's participated. He's been around, but sitting on the bench holding a clipboard.
2 Super Bowls.
Yeah. The Niners run in 2019. They had home field throughout. And last week he was in a dome in Dallas. So I think that's going to be a big unknown. Like this is 2 degrees fucking cold. And Jimmy doesn't necessarily have the God-given talent that Josh Allen does to just whether or not Josh Allen actually likes the cold, which I think he's been pretty open about the fact that he doesn't, still has the ability to throw, the ball through a brick wall. So it's not going to necessarily be hindered by that. Jimmy G, not as gifted there, but the 49ers, as we know, have a really strong rushing attack that bears out. They're the 5th ranked rushing offense per DVOA. The Packers, conversely, have the 28th ranked rushing defense per DVOA. So if you're just looking matchups and where the 49ers could catch an edge here, that's definitely an area that could stand out and could have an effect in this one. Plus, as we talked about, I think a little bit on our recap from Super Wildcard Weekend, I think we're going to see a heavy, heavy dose of Deebo Samuel in this one. And I just don't think the Packers are going to want to tackle him. And anybody is, I mean, frankly, the fact that anybody's even playing in this game and it's 2 degrees, I like hats off to you. But I mean, Deebo is going to, I think, make a difference in this one. Ultimately, where I'm leaning here is Packers win They are my NFC pick for the Super Bowl after all. And I think the Niners will cover, though. 6 points we'll see how this line shifts, but I'm going to be on the Niners +6.
That interception that Jimmy Garoppolo threw to try to close out the game. We were texting back and forth during the Dallas 49ers game, and there were multiple times where he said that if Jimmy G's not back next year, that's the play. And the fact that it took multiple plays for that to happen, or that it happened on multiple plays, is what concerns me. The Packers are getting healthier. We still don't know if Jair Alexander is going to play, but if you just look at what outside of that first game, where they just for some reason thought that when they changed the schedule to 17 regular season games, that first game was still a preseason game.
Count.
Like they just didn't get it. Like they lost 13-7 to the Chiefs, but that was with Jordan Love at quarterback. They lost by 3 in a divisional game to the Vikings and lost by 7 with Aaron Rodgers sitting out the second half to the Lions. Like they have been absolutely dominant. I am scared that their rush defense in the regular season was essentially 30th in the NFL. And their last 3 games, they were substantially worse than even that. I think they were giving up 5.7 yards per carry at that point. And they're each playing to each other's strengths, right? The 49ers cornerbacks are god awful at this point. And the Packers rush defense is very similarly terrible. I just think that I trust Aaron Rodgers to be able to take advantage of those opportunities against the 49ers. They won by 2 when they played, but that was with no Devontae Adams. Like that's a huge drop off for them. So I am gonna ultimately go Packers on this one to win by at least a touchdown. I'll bump it. I'll tease it to 7. Do I get extra points for that?
Not in this
6.5,
scenario.
6.5. I don't want to lose. I don't want to push on a touchdown victory.
Yeah. All right. So we're split on that one. And I agree with you on all that. I mean, this has potential to be an absolute fucking blowout from the Packers standpoint. I'm not going to shy away from that fact. The Niners, though, are a tough ass team, and their ability to run the ball is going to keep them a little more competitive in some of these games, maybe than some other teams. So, J-Rob, where are you going?
Real quick, want to throw in 2 question marks here. Nick Bosa and Fred Warner.
I was going to say, I just looked up his status.
Towards playing, and we haven't heard a ton about Warner. It sounds like it'll be a game time decision. So
Bosa's trending because he hasn't practiced.
It's a concussion. You can just make up the test. I'm pretty sure
that's true.
Over the last 5 years, you're just like, how many fingers am I holding up? 1 finger? Okay, good job. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, he said a word. It counts. Jair practiced Tuesday and Wednesday. Bakhtiari practiced today. So it does seem like the Packers are getting a little healthier. I am just going to stick my head in the sand and continue to say that the Niners are frauds. And I got the Packers. I just, at this point, there's nothing more than just Rodgers versus Garoppolo.
How much better do you feel about yourself, John? That
that you guys have gone opposite of my picks. I actually was just thinking
we're trying to help you out.
Well, this is either gonna look really good for me, or you guys are gonna make up some ground here.
At this point, like you've been doing so good, and I've just been getting faded on every pick that it's like maybe I should just stay away from yours. Let you do your thing and see how it goes. I do like the Packers, and kind of converse to what you guys were saying about Debo being a guy you don't want to tackle. The Packers have a guy in AJ Dillon that no one wants to tackle either. And so I think you have a mix of Rodgers who can run a really good play action, who can run a good bootlegs, who can find Devontae Adams whenever he wants. On top of a decent running game. I know Aaron Jones is still banged up, but he's fully participated. I think you might see a lot of AJ Dillon if it's going to be that cold. And so, I like the Packers.
I'm going to throw out something that's going to bite me in the ass immediately, but I'm going to predict that the 49ers have no interceptions this game because they've had Trey Lance running the scout team offense as Aaron Rodgers. And yes, the scrambling ability is there, but dude throws fucking pocket rockets that look like freaking Hot Wheels cars flipping through the air. So they're going to see Aaron Rodgers ball come at them, like, I'm not gonna know what to do because this is a spiral. It's gonna hit me right in the fucking face. I've been trying to fucking catch punts that have been thrown at me at 45 miles an hour. So I don't understand that strategy all that much, but that's what they chose to do. And it'll be interesting. Actually, Jimmy G's questionable play. He hasn't said that he's even gonna be able to play
That's true.
on Saturday. That quick
Do we see
turnaround.
chances we see Trey Lance? Percent chance?
I
50
think
I don't
50?
know.
you think he's either the starter or he doesn't play unless Kyle Shanahan is absolutely an offensive genius and he just is like, this is my Colin Kaepernick against the
Secret
Green Bay Packers,
weapon.
and just throw him in there. You put Debo on one side, you put Elijah Mitchell on the other side, and Trey Lance in the backfield, and just say, guess what? We're running 3 different directions. Have fun chasing us for the rest of
Triple
the
option,
night.
wing T. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I wouldn't put it past Kyle Shanahan to win this game with Trey Lance. He's a genius. I mean, that's really one of the biggest things about this game, from picks aside, that I'm excited about, though, is these are 2 of my favorite offenses to watch, because both of them, obviously they come from the same tree, but they do the simple things so well to create numbers advantages. And it's stuff as simple as, like, okay, we're going to put Devontae Adams in a jet motion when we know we have man coverage, and we're going to fucking throw him the ball within a quarter second of the snap. Like, it's so simple, the way that, especially this Green Bay offense, gets the ball to Devontae Adams. They make it impossible for you to take him out of the game. You can't stick a Jalen Ramsey or, a shutdown corner on him and say, okay, well, that's it. We're good. We don't have to worry about Devontae Adams. Like, they will manufacture those matchups, and Kyle Shanahan does it better than anybody in the run game. And I mean, I'm excited about this one, even though it's the one game of the week that has the highest spread, which is part of my motivation for picking the Niners here.
Fair.
All right, on to Sunday. Rams at Bucks. Now, Bucks are 3-point favorites in this one. I know the Bills and Chiefs really have the headlines, I think, this week of being, the game that everyone is looking forward to. But I really think this one has the potential to be the best game of the week, strictly because I think, and there's obviously the Bucks are dealing with a ton of injuries, and we've talked about that quite a bit. But I think this is such an equal level of competition. You have 2 teams that have very solid defenses, 2 teams that have very good offenses, and the way that their star power matches up, I think this is going to be a great, great game. It was a long time ago, but the Rams did beat the Bucks in week 3, 34-24. Brady still popped off for 432 yards, but the Rams were successful because they made the Bucks one-dimensional, and that was when the Bucks had Fournette and Rojo. And ultimately, I think we're going to see Ramsey spend a good amount of his time on Mike Evans, who is really the only blue chip, weapon that Brady
He's not
has
taking
left.
Scotty Miller.
I don't think he's going to sit on Scotty Miller in the slot. I really don't. I think we'll see a lot of Scotty Miller. So if you're betting on Scotty Miller catches or yards, maybe, it's a good prop bet there.
5 for 50
But
plus. Yeah.
yeah, but I just think, I don't know, what have we been saying for years about how you beat Brady, right? And it's obviously nobody's really figured it out on a consistent basis, but what do you do to make him uncomfortable? You push the interior of the pocket. Well, here comes Aaron Donald. And Jensen, I don't know if we know his status. I know he got hurt, came back into the game almost right away.
He has not practiced this week.
Yeah. Him nor Tristan Wirfs have practiced this week, so their right tackle or their center.
Yeah, so that worries me from the Bucs standpoint here, and I think what really pushes me over on this one is that what we saw from Cam Akers last week, it really surprised me and gives this Rams offense an added dimension that I I just can't bet against them getting points. I think right now with the injuries that the Bucks have, I think it'll be a really good game. Brady obviously is going to keep the Bucks in it no matter what, but I'm going to take the Rams +3 in this one.
I changed my mind 3 times while you were talking because there's a point that it was these teams are so evenly matched. I just have to go with the better quarterback. Who do I trust to fuck up the least?
Yep.
And with Matt Stafford's, pick 6 regimen that he's got going on, I don't know if it's part of the TB12 method or what type of workout he's doing, but he just hasn't been spectacular for a consistent period of time, and that scares me. But I just think that the Rams are too powerful and the Bucks are too depleted. If
Mhm.
obviously if Tristan Wirfs or Ryan Jensen aren't playing, this line changes completely, I think. So they're probably trending towards playing, but how healthy are they ultimately going to be? They've only got Mike Evans as far as a star wide receiver at this point, and they were playing with house money with Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown for what we thought was this all 22 coming back situation. Leonard Fournette, I think he's going to play, but playoff Lenny didn't get a head start in his playoff Lenny stuff, so there's just no way he's going to be as good as he was last year. He can't. He's playing one less game, and that Bucks secondary still scares me. I think that they're just not to the same level that they were last year, and they're going to be able to take advantage of this. Stafford can. I mean, you've got not Deshaun Jackson, OBJ out there at this point. You've got Cooper Kupp. There's just too much firepower on each side that I'm going to have to trust the Rams on this one to win a close one. This isn't me saying Bucks cover or Bucks lose the cover, but still win. Like, I think this one to me is either the Bucks win by greater than 3 or the Rams actually win out. And I think I'm taking the Rams. And this really doesn't have much to do with week 3, quite frankly. I don't know how much your pick has to do with week 3. These are two different teams. I think that being able to get interior pressure, only rushing 4 against Tom Brady, it's going to be tough for him outside of Scotty Miller, to your point, having a spectacular game because he's got to get rid of it in 2.17 seconds again, like he did against the Eagles.
Yep. All right. We're both on the Rams. J-Rob, how you feeling about this one?
I'm actually glad Toaster went with the Rams because I was going to go with the Bucks. I do think a lot of the guys that are injured are going to play. That's optimism on my end, but I just think they're going to show up, be ready to go. They'll grit through it. This one I'm leaning towards just Super Bowl experience. Like that whole team has been there. It even felt like they turned it on against the Eagles. And granted, the Eagles are, a very mid team, in my opinion, comparing to the other playoff teams. But they had that extra switch. They had that extra edge. And I think that will carry over. And it's the GOAT. Brady's won 9 straight division games, 9 straight division playoff games. And so I just think it's really, really hard to bet against him, especially when he's only getting a field goal or they're only getting 3 points or giving up 3 points. I always get that twisted. But one thing to note too, Andrew Whitworth for the Rams has also not played this week. And he's a very big piece in that run game. And yeah, even with injuries and stuff, I'll take my chances on the defending Super Bowl champs with a guy that hasn't lost in 9 years in the divisional round. I'll take my chances. Plus, he has the experience of going against McVay in that Super Bowl. I know that's not the same team. He's on a different team, different rosters, but I do think the more information you give to Tom, the worse off you're going to be. And the fact that he has prior information on that could be problematic for them. Am I nervous that Von Miller, who owns Tom Brady, is going to wreck this game? 100%. But I'll still take the Bucks.
I want to point out one thing, J-Rob. I'm not sure if you're aware. Tom Brady's old.
He's been saying that for like 5 years.
Than all of the coaches remaining in the NFC besides his own coach. So,
which to me is an advantage.
Keep that in mind that like this is an old man that we're talking about. But to your
You
point
might
about
break a hip.
yeah, to your point about experience, we always say that it's tough to beat a team twice in a season, right? That's why we go 50-50 on most of our divisional picks, because someone figures something out and tweaks it just enough to get the job done. And the Rams are going to have to beat the Bucks twice, and they're going to have to beat the Bucks at home this time. So, is a series split? It's looking better to me for the Bucks, but this is one that they're just so explosive. Like, this can get out of hand either way.
My
Yeah.
counter argument to him being old is that you de facto have the best coach in the NFC playing the most important position on the field. So
Mhm.
I'll still take my chances.
Tom Brady, Coach of the Year. Heard it here first. All right. So Toaster and I are on the Rams. J-Rob is taking the Bucks. I like it. I like it.
And I
That
have a
takes us
feeling
to.
that I'm making a bold prediction. We're all three going to be on the same side on this last one. Take it away.
You think?
I think
Okay.
so.
All
I've
right.
never been
So
wrong.
except the 44 times that, yeah. Okay. The Bills
But who's
at the
counting?
Chiefs. Yeah. Who's
Apparently,
counting?
fucking John.
Yeah. Hey, I make the graphic every week, so I have to update the numbers. Sorry. Bills at the Chiefs. Chiefs are 1.5-point favorites, and I think this is going to be a fun ass game. Chiefs have been Vegas darlings all year, but I think if even when they were struggling, they were still getting just crazy. Like, the number of points that they were giving up to teams was nuts. But if Buffalo puts it all together like they did last week, like we've seen them do several times this year, I think there's potential that the Bills could win this one pretty easily, honestly. I think they're getting disrespected a little bit here. The Chiefs are the 2 seed. They have Mahomes, yada, yada, yada. But, and admittedly, I think I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit on Buffalo based on what they did last week. But, I don't know, no disrespect to Andy Reid and the Chiefs or anything. They're crazy talented, but the Bills are coming off quite possibly the greatest offensive performance in a single game we've ever seen in the playoffs. And
Not
it
even
was
playoffs. Any
maybe
game
ever.
in NFL history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did it against a Bill Belichick defense. And that I just can't get out of my head. I can't get that out of my head. This could be a legitimate, like, legacy type moment for Josh Allen. I know it's only the divisional round, but it's a chance to take down Mahomes and really show that, look, the Bills are going to be in this thing for a fucking
To
decade.
take down Mac Jones and Patrick Mahomes in the same postseason. Holy shit.
Legend. Yeah. So I think the Bills win this. It's 1.5, so it's basically a pick 'em anyway. But I think the Bills win this, and I think there's potential that they win it pretty comfortably. So I am Bills plus 1.5.
All right. I'm the Bills plus 1.5. How about you, J-Rob?
You can go first.
No, let's see what your counter argument is if you think that we're not all on the same page here.
I have the Chiefs. I actually really like the Chiefs,
Okay,
and it
Vegas.
has nothing to do with the Chiefs' offense. It has everything to do with Chris Jones being on the field. When Chris Jones is off the field, 510 plays, the average opponent QBR is 72.2. When Chris Jones is on the field, he's been on the field for 616 plays. The average opponent QBR is 42.5. So you're telling me that when he's on the field, that average quarterback goes down 30 points in his QBR? That's insane. And Chris Jones wasn't playing in that game against the Bills earlier in the season, and I think he will be the game wrecker that causes – it's just going to be hard to run. Like, he just wrecks the interior like that, and I just think it'll be hard for Allen to do what he did last week with running the football as much as successful as he did. And if they have to play catch up, I think that's when really Chris Jones can wreak havoc. And so, yeah, I like the Chiefs here.
Well, this is
Does
where,
QB
like, we keep the intern in check a little bit. I think that was pre-Brandon Ingram trade as well. So, throw that one in there as far as your stat, because once they brought Brandon Ingram in, Chris Jones fucking took off. So go ahead,
Yeah.
John.
I was gonna ask if QBR takes into account the fact that Josh Allen is an alien, because that might be something that's hard to quantify. No, trust me, I feel you on the Chiefs are their offense is fucking firing right now. And when Mahomes gets hot, there are very very few teams that have a chance. I think this Bills team has a chance. I know that they've had some up and down games, right? They've had some pretty embarrassing losses, some pretty flat moments throughout the year. They still finished the year as the number one defense by pretty much any metric you look at. And with the way that they're playing and the way Josh Allen is playing and that the pressure that Bills offense is putting on other teams' offenses now to keep up, I think that's where we know Mahomes will give you the ball, give you chances, right? Like he had a lot of really good turnover luck for most of his career. He had a pretty bad
Still
a
have
stretch of what's up?
the number of dropped interceptions that Patrick Mahomes has is insane. Like, look up the stat. I don't have it in front of me, but
Yeah,
he would be not a middling. He'd still be an above average quarterback. Don't want to be too harsh, but his
yeah,
interception numbers are very much depressed based on drops by cornerbacks, which is why they play cornerback.
yep. And the Chiefs went through a stretch this year when they were struggling where it almost went the other way. He was getting pretty unlucky, like balls bouncing off people's hands, and somehow finding a
Tyreek Hill's
way
not a wide
to
receiver one.
defenders.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I just think Mahomes will give you a shot, and if the Bills' offense continues to play like it's playing, the Chiefs are going to have to keep up. And I know they like that type of game. I know Mahomes and Andy Reid will welcome that, but I think this Bills defense is good enough to get a couple game-changing turnovers potentially, and I just really feel like this could be it could be a comfortable win. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout, but it can be a comfortable win for Buffalo. Let's say a 10-point win or something like that. Um, I'm just too high on the Bills right now. I mean, they just look so good. So
yeah. I
I
don't know how you stop Josh Allen after last week. We know that Sean McDermott's willing to go for it on 4th and 2 to 3 yards, which is essentially another play, right? That's a free third down because that's what you want to be in 3rd and short. And Sean's like, well, that's same as 3rd and short. I'd go for it there. Why not go for it on 4th?
yeah
I I don't think that, quite frankly, either the Chiefs are right on offense or on defense. They gave up 2 touchdown passes to Ben Roethlisberger last week, and to start the game, we went over this in the recap. They had 3 punts, a fumble, and an interception, and you're not going to be able to dig out of that hole that easily because guess what? Unfortunately, you're not playing the Texans in this round. So
yeah
if the Bills get up 24-0, I think they're going to be able to close out a little bit better than Deshaun Watson was able to, whatever it was, 2-3 years ago at this point. And obviously he's needed a lot of consoling since then.
You guys don't have
yeah.
any concern that there's going to be a regression from the greatest offensive performance ever?
Well, I mean,
I
there's
mean,
going to be a regression.
yeah. Do I think they're
How?
going to score on all 7 possessions? No, but I don't feel. I feel like they're clicking right now, and Brian Dayball's in a good rhythm as a play caller. Like you said, Sean McDermott is trusting them and giving them opportunities to go for it on 4th down, which I think this team loves, and they're just. I mean, Mahomes is a freak, right? Like the arm talent is off the charts, some of the best we've ever seen in league history. Josh Allen is in that conversation. And it's just this is going to be there's going to be fireworks.
Well, and we didn't throw this out there last pod, but he had 9.5 seconds to throw on that touchdown pass to Dawson Knox. Like, if you're able to get that amount of time in the pocket, Stephon Diggs, Knox, Devin Singletary, someone's going to be open, and that's what's been so successful for
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, right? Is that he's run around and then he's happened to have either big body and Kelsey or speedsters and Hill, McCole Hardman. Like they're running a very similar scheme there, and I trust Josh Allen more than I trust Patrick Mahomes at this point. And then if you talk about the defenses, I don't think that there's a question that even without Tre'Davious White, that the Bills have the better defense. As John said, every metric that you want to look at, it's pretty much them. And they had the biggest point differential in the NFL this year. So I think they've got a strong offense, they've got a strong defense, and I don't trust the Chiefs to be able to put it together, which is much to my delight. But I want you to be happy too, J Rob. Just not, like with any of your picks or shit like that.
Oh, I've accepted that my fandom for Denver will just be pretty short-lived as long as Mahomes is a Chief. But
there you go. Jerick
Josh,
McKinnon does scare me. How about that? Is that kind of a wild card to you?
Oh, McKinnon?
Not enough of one to swing me in this one. We're not talking about what, like a Cam Akers level.
Well, he's not a Debo or anything like that, but that dual threat that when you have a dual threat and you've got Mecole Hardman, Kelsey, and Hill that you have to cover, that makes it a lot more difficult.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm with you on that. We talked about that last episode too. Josh, I just want to point out that you picked opposite of me in every single one of these games. So
trying to do you a favor.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right. So that does it
for
what we
pay him for? Make you feel good?
Yeah, just build you guys up,
Yep. I'm fading him really. We're actually discussing before we get on what our picks are so that I know to fade him. So
yeah.
Ryan,
I'm like the parlay push-up bra. I'm here to elevate everyone else's parlay.
That's great. All right. So that does it for all 4 of the games. I'm pretty stoked about this round, honestly. And again, I mean, we've been saying it for a long time, but the weeks of football are dwindling. So let's really appreciate these good ones. Any last thoughts on the divisional round or really just the league in general before we get out of here?
Did I pick the Bucks or the Rams?
You picked the
Rams?
Rams.
I know, I'm just fucking with you guys, but like that's how most of these have been fucking pick'ems for me, which is exactly what you want. Why the 7th team in the NFL playoffs is probably not exactly the greatest thing for the league, but it makes them a shit ton of money. So that's what drives it.
And it's more football, so not going to hate.
More football.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then that will do it for us. Our primetime parlay, our divisional round picks and preview, and we'll get this episode out with our picks. So if you're not watching live, don't fret. But let's go, guys. This will be a good week.
I'm hoping they're good games. That's all I really care for at this point, because clearly I can't hit a parlay to save my life. So I want them to be good games. Wait, do you have the dogs on everybody? Are all your picks the road dogs, or do you have the Titans and then road dogs?
I have the Titans and road dogs, which last week I took all home favorites. So and went 5-1.
True.
We'll see. All vibes,
excited.
Baby.
I'm John, and I went 5-1.
Dude, just throw it in his face that he can't bet in the state he's in, and then you win.
That's true.
Hey, no, all bets are legal, binding contracts. Everything is up to snuff.
Yeah, I just drive to the casino.
Yeah.
He bets hypothetically. He bets with Shroot Bucks.
13 miles into international waters, and he's good.
Yeah, I actually bet with Pooch Coin. So
all right. Yeah, speaking of Pooch Coin, coming soon. Maybe.
Do a t-shirt for you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you later.